welcome to Washington Exec's video series. I'm the Washington Exec reporter, Rachel Kirkland, and today I'm speaking with members of Washington Exec's newly formed Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Council. So let me introduce Bridget Chatman, who chairs the council. Hello, Bridget.
Hello, Rachel.
And I'd like to welcome Marie Sylla Dixon of Raytheon Technologies.
Thank you, Rachel.
And Scott Nycum of GDIT.
Hi, Rachel. Thank you.
So each of you leads efforts around DE&I at your respective companies. I'm so glad you are here. Each of you has a unique perspective about the council and the value it brings to your work. Bridget, can you tell us about the council's mission and purpose and why it was important for SAIC to join?
So SAIC is committed to being an industry leader, deeply driven by our mission, our purpose, and our values. And those include empowering and advancing the future of government, creating a differentiated experience for our employees, whether it be greater flexibility around future of work, adding Juneteenth as a fixed holiday, ensuring that we have a culture, an environment where employees can show up, be authentic, and most importantly, feel that they belong. And as well as our leaders reflecting the population that we serve, from the board to our ELT and cascaded throughout the organization. So engaging in dialogue across the industry in the importance of DE&I is an extension of our commitment. And my having a discussion with JD back in April about just reflecting on the murder of George Floyd, many companies accelerating their DE&I initiatives, we both agreed that it was long overdue to have a DE&I council to address the nuances of the government community. And the council seeks to bring all DE&I practitioners and stakeholders across industry to collaborate, share knowledge, discuss topics that are relevant to the government community, and promote DE&I accessibility and belonging within the government contracting community. So topics, Rachel, includes how we look at executive orders and interpret them and execute them, supplier diversity, metrics and accountability, biases in procurement, biases in technology, as well as strategies to improve inclusion and belonging are just some of the topics. And I'm thrilled that we have two of our founding members here today, Marie and Scott. Let's hear from them.
Excellent. Well, let's start with Marie. Why did Raytheon Technologies join the Washington Exec DE&I Council? And can you also speak to why it is important for government contractors and other corporations to drive diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Rachel, first of all, thank you for having me here today, you and JD. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with Bridget and Scott, who are both leaders in this area and who are using their platforms for change. So thank you. For Raytheon Technologies, diversity, equity, inclusion really is a business imperative. It's what makes our company innovative and having the best and the brightest minds that helps to fuel those backgrounds, those ideas, those differences and perspectives is really what helps us bring forth innovative products and services, especially now as we're going through this accelerated digital transformation. One of the reasons, Raytheon Technologies and why we decided to really join is we really wanted to align ourselves with other like-minded companies, organizations who really put diversity, equity, and inclusion as one of the top priorities, which all of these companies do. We have a unique opportunity right now as government contractors because for years, government contractors have been working on issues like supplier diversity, public policy, and as well as workforce diversity. So Washington Exec Council really allows for us as a D&I representatives from our companies to come together and help exchange ideas, talk about best practices, but more importantly, it's giving us a platform to convene and figure out how we can leverage our platform on issues dealing with diversity, equity, inclusion. We have an opportunity right now, and I think an opportunity as a government contractor and corporate America has an opportunity to really get on the forefront of these issues and to really work with policymakers and regulators who are already our customers on some of these tough, challenging issues that we can really make generational change.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Scott, why did GDIT join the council? And can you also speak to, do you think there can be significant change without the support of companies in GovCon?
Thanks, Rachel. Yeah, I agree with how Bridget and Marie are talking about it for their peer organizations. It's incredibly important for GDIT to be visible, and not just visible for the signal or performance value of being a company that shows up in spaces, but this council particularly resonates for me and GDIT because it's where real work is happening. There's a lot of places that DE&I leaders can spend their time, and as you could appreciate and imagine, specifically in the last year, a lot of consultancies and support has built a cottage industry around how organizations, large and complex like our organizations are, how they will make meaningful progress. And we all have to make decisions about where to spend our time and which resources to pay attention to. And there are a lot of great resources out there. We're learning from companies who have been further down the path. We're learning from things that work and don't work. But particularly for this council, I'm already finding that there are timely conversations that are from the frontline practitioner, executive perspective. And there's a specific flavor to what Bridget said a moment ago, which is in the GovCon space specifically, we have a unique set of opportunities and challenges for the kinds of companies we operate. Our approach to innovation, our approach to attracting and keeping talent might be similar to other large organizations, but there's something specific about our industry that requires us to have very focused peer conversations. And I think the council is on its way to being a place for those conversations to practically, in less than an hour, send us all on our way with the insights and the collaboration we need to more swiftly and confidently go back to our organizations. And it's not a competitive sense. It's a very generous sense of sharing that our success is linked.
I love it.
Rachel, that leads me to the second question you asked, which is the significant change we want to see in both our industry and with our customers in GovCon. We can say this about a lot of things, but I particularly think about diversity to equity inclusion is our success is so inextricably linked. We hope that in every program we bid and win and execute, that we form a partnership with the ecosystem of technology companies and other performers, and most notably with our customers and their missions. And so it's important for every time we approach work like that to think of a partnership. But in DE&I work, it's not just nice to have, it's the only way we're going to make progress together. We as an organization that bring our smart consultants to an engagement can get only so far in thinking about diversity, equity, and inclusion in the side of our four walls, metaphorical four walls, if we can't have the hard, uncomfortable, and important conversations with our government mission partners, the customers and clients. So if we can be the source of light, inspiration, information, and lessons in a setting like the council is, we can engage more I think more thoughtfully and more focused with the GovCon community and all of the stakeholders that are in it. So I have a lot of hope and aspiration for the work that we can do. I'm encouraged by the work we have already done. And I think that this is going to be an important bedrock of all of us finding the success that we absolutely need to see.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that perspective. Bridget, any final thoughts about the council?
Sure. Well, first of all, I would like to thank you, Rachel, for having this discussion with the DE&I Council today, and thank JD Africa and WashingtonExec for understanding the relevance and importance of having the DE&I Council. And most importantly, I want to thank all the founding members who show up every month ready to engage in difficult discussions around DE&I. Our desired outcome of the council is to leverage our collective strength to move the needle on all the critical aspects of DE&I and its challenges in the government today. We want to disrupt the conversation on whether or not it's important. It's important. And so now it's time for us to do the necessary work to be impactful and get in good trouble. So again, thank you to Washington Exec. Thank you, Marie. Thank you, Scott. And again, we have a lot of good work to do. So we appreciate everyone's time today. If you want to join, please reach out to Washington Exec and join the council. Thanks again.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all for your work on the council, and thank you for coming on and sharing your thoughts today. It's been a pleasure talking to you.